Zervos right with the lawyer Gloria Allred in January. Ms. Zervos, who claimed President Trump groped her in 2007, brought a defamation suit against him after he called her and other accusers liars. Mike Nelson, European press photo agency. While allegations of sexual misconduct against powerful men in recent weeks have drawn wide public support and prompted quick response, women who came forward during the presidential race with accusations against Donald J. Trump said they spent the past year feeling dismissed and forgotten. With Trump, it was all brushed under the rug, said Temple Taggart, who claimed Mr. Trump kissed her on the mouth when she was competing in his Miss USA pageant in 1997, but that could change if a defamation lawsuit brought by a woman who accused Mr. Trump of unwanted sexual advances is allowed to proceed in New York State Supreme Court, a legal ruling that could come before the end of the year. Lawyers in the suit sought a subpoena seeking all Trump campaign records related to his female accusers. If the case advances, the accusers could be deposed, going up against Mr. Trump yet again. The plaintiff in the lawsuit, Summer Zervos, a former contestant on Mr. Trump's show The Apprentice, is represented by the law firm of Gloria Allred, who has helped bring cases against Bill Cosby and other high-profile defendants. They claim that Mr. Trump defamed Ms. Zervos during the campaign when he repeatedly described her and other accusers' accounts as lies and nonsense, and said the women either were being put forward by his opponent Hillary Clinton's campaign or were motivated to come forward by getting 10 minutes of fame, according to the complaint. Mr. Trump has sought to dismiss or stay the case, claiming that a sitting president cannot be sued in state court and that his comments amount to political speech, arguments that were reaffirmed by his legal team in a brief filed on Tuesday. But lawyers for Ms. Zervos point to the United States Supreme Court ruling that allowed Paula Jones to bring a sexual harassment suit against President Bill Clinton while he was in office, and several law professors have filed briefs supporting the legal grounds for such a suit. Temple Taggart accused Mr. Trump of kissing her on the mouth when she was competing in his Miss USA pageant in 1997. Chad Hurst-Getty Images. Among those who said they would embrace the opportunity to provide a deposition in the case is Jessica Leeds, who has accused Mr. Trump of grabbing her breasts and trying to put his hand up her skirt during a plane ride several decades ago. "I would do it, I'm not afraid," Ms. Leeds said. When she spoke out last year, Mr. Trump denied her allegation and insinuated that Ms. Leeds was not attractive enough for that to have happened. "Believe me," he said, "she would not be my first choice." Asked about the subpoena stemming from the lawsuit at a news conference last month, Mr. Trump said it was totally fake news, "It's made up stuff, and it's disgraceful what happens," he said. But that happens in the world of politics. During the campaign, more than 10 women made allegations against Mr. Trump, ranging from unwanted touching to sexual assault. Most of them spoke out after the release of an Access Hollywood tape that captured him bragging about kissing women and grabbing the private parts without invitation. The New York Times would like to hear from readers who want to share messages and materials with our journalists. Mr. Trump insisted that he had never engaged in the behavior he described and dismissed his own comments as locker room talk. When woman after woman went public with accusations, he denied every one of them. And when Ms. Zervos made her claim, saying that Mr. Trump had groped and kissed her without her consent at his office in New York City and a hotel in Los Angeles in 2007, he said that he had never met her at a hotel or greeted her inappropriately. The accusers, varying in age and geographic location, had never met one another, and their allegations stretched back to the 1980s. Some said they had run into Mr. Trump through work, while others said they had had chance encounters with him. Ms. Taggart and several others said they had spent the past year in a mix of disbelief, anger and occasional fear as they watched Mr. Trump call them liars, threaten to sue them and then win an election to the White House. Ms. Zervos declined to comment, but in the lawsuit, her lawyers say that Mr. Trump knowingly, intentionally and maliciously threw each and every one of these women under the bus, with conscious disregard of the impact that repeatedly calling them lies would have upon their lives and reputations. The suit, which is before Judge Jennifer Schechter, alleges emotional harm and about $3,000 in economic damage. But Ms. Allred has said the purpose of the lawsuit is not financial, but rather to expose the truth. Legal experts point out that Mr. Trump could eventually be deposed or asked to testify, and that if he lied under oath, it would be grounds for Congress to impeach him, as happened with Mr. Clinton. Mark Kasowitz, Mr. Trump's lawyer in the case, has made a variety of legal arguments seeking its dismissal. He has argued that the Constitution's supremacy clause prevents a state court from hearing an action against a sitting president, and that even if the New York court disagreed, it should stay the case during the Trump presidency to prevent a private witch hunt that could threaten to interfere with the operations of the executive branch and the federal government. Mr. Kasowitz has also argued that because the allegedly defamatory statements were made during a national political campaign, they should be viewed as part of the expected fiery rhetoric, hyperbole, and opinion that is squarely protected by the First Amendment. The day after Mr. Trump was sworn in as president in January, some of his accusers marched in Washington, drawing cheers from fellow protesters, including the actress Ashley Judd. "She was telling us to stay strong, that we did the right thing," Ms. Taggart said. Since then, Ms. Judd has helped to unleash an avalanche of accusations against the film producer Harvey Weinstein, leading to his dismissal from his company and inspiring others to go public with complaints about other prominent male bosses. Rachel Crooks, who said that Mr. Trump kissed her on the mouth in 2005 when she was working as a young receptionist at Trump Tower in Manhattan, has been heartened to see the recent allegations bring about change. But she could not help seeing a contrast to how things played out for the Trump accusers. "You'd wonder," Ms. Crooks said, "how can the country forget about us?" A version of this article appears in print on November 3, 2017, on page A1 of the New York edition with the headline, "Trump accusers feel forgotten, but a lawsuit may end that."